What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, WBC Super Featherweight Mexican Superstar Boxer World Champion Miguel Berchelt will be taking on undefeated former WBO Featherweight World Champion Superstar Boxer Oscar Valdez tomorrow night. With that said, here goes my final breakdown and prediction for this fight. This is going to be a super fight. This is going to be action-packed from beginning to end. Oscar Valdez is 28-0, 22 wins by way of knockout. Miguel Berchelt is 37 wins, one loss on his resume. That came back in 2014 when he got TKO'd in 2014. But he has 33 wins by way of knockout. So since 2014, obviously he has not lost, seeing as though he's 37-1, 33 wins by way of knockout. With that said, Miguel Berchelt is 29 years of age, stands at 5'7", has a 72-inch arm reach. That's enormous, okay? That is unnormal for a guy that fights at 130 pounds to have a 71-inch arm reach. He has a 1 inch less arm reach than undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer Earl the True Spence Jr., who stands at 5'9" with a 72-inch arm reach. So he has extremely long arms to fight at 130, okay? And like I said, 29 years of age. He was TKO'd back in 2014 against Luis Flores. He got TKO'd, and since then, he's been on a tear, okay? He's been on a massive winning streak. He's a world champion. He's a superstar. With that said, Oscar Valdez is nothing to sneeze at in his own right. Oscar Valdez, is 28-0, 22 wins by way of knockout. He has no losses on his resume. He's a Olympic, former Olympian, two-time Olympian. He has shown flaws in his game. But Oscar Valdez is 30 years old. He stands at 5'5.5". He has a 66-inch arm reach, okay? And he has 22 wins by way of knockout. With that said, he's shown more flaws, oddly enough, ironically, in his game than Miguel Berchelt, and he doesn't have any losses. Miguel Berchelt was knocked out. But Oscar Valdez, he shows hesitation. Now, he does have a new trainer, and Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is trying to, instill defense into Oscar Valdez. But that said, Oscar Valdez, when he gets hit, he don't know any better. He goes right into a firefight. Oscar Valdez cannot help himself. He loves action-packed fights. Miguel Berchelt, he has a longer range. He has a 5-inch arm reach advantage over Oscar Valdez. He has more power in both hands. And the ultimate key, is that he has better footwork. He has far better footwork than Oscar Valdez. And he has, a lot of people will say that Miguel Berchelt doesn't have defense, Oscar Valdez doesn't have defense. Well, Miguel Berchelt does have defense. He utilizes his legs to judge the distance very well, and he does slip punches. The thing is, when he gets you hurt or vulnerable, he's going to go in for the stoppage. He's going to look to close the show, okay? And that can leave himself vulnerable, and he gets hit. Is he the most athletic guy? No, but he judges distance very, very well. He's a great boxer. Oscar Valdez does have a lot of power. He's a great counter puncher. Oscar Valdez can, counter his opponents very, very well. Like I said, he never met a fight he didn't like. He loves to mix it up. And he'll swing for the fences at times, okay? But he leaves himself vulnerable. He's just able to close the show in those fights. But that won't be the case, in my opinion, when it comes to Miguel Berchelt. I believe that Miguel Berchelt, judge a distance, ability to be able to control the pace of the fight. His jab is just as... Now, Oscar Valdez has a great jab as well. And one lapse that Miguel Berchelt does have a tendency to always rear its ugly head, and that's the fact that he always leaves his head straight up in the air. He leaves his chin straight up in the air. He leaves himself vulnerable. He opens up very, very wide at times. He throwing hooks. If he gets you in a position where he thinks that you're uh, um, in a compromised position, meaning that you're off balance, or you're trying to move away, he'll pressure you at that point, right? He'll keep the pressure on you. He'll continue to throw punches, but in doing so, he opens himself up very, very wide, and you can counter him. Now that's the key, because Oscar Valdez is a very good counter puncher, okay, and he has power. So those are the times where I feel like Oscar Valdez is going to have to capitalize on the situation. He's going to have to, when he gets those openings, he's going to have to stay poised, stay cool, calm, and collective. Don't get flustered when Miguel Berchelt comes at you, right? He's going to have to take advantage of those openings, because he's going to leave himself wide open, take advantage of them. And I believe that Oscar Valdez can freeze him, right? Because he has enough power, and he's sharp and accurate enough to where he could land those punches right then and there, and boom, boom, and freeze Miguel Berchelt in his tracks. That'll make him hesitant from, and possibly deviate from his normal game plan, what's natural to him, okay? You want him to start to think. You want him to start to, hesitate, and you want him to start to second guess himself. And so if Oscar Valdez can counter him when Miguel Berchelt opens up wide like that, if he counters him and hits him with enough clean punches, he'll freeze him in his tracks, thus render him hesitant to come forward and continue to press you. He'll think twice, before just opening up and coming right at you. So that's what Oscar Valdez is going to have to do. Another thing is he's going to have to use feints. Those feints are going to, allow himself to close the distance, to close the gap, because he's the smaller man. He's going to have to feint, close the gap. And once he get on the inside, he's going to have to be accurate. If it's not there, he's going to have to tie up, allow the referee to break them up. And once again, he starts, it's not always well for him to keep restarting, because he has to work his way to the inside. But it's best for him to restart and have a clean start, opposed to getting on the inside. It's not there, opening himself up, and then getting hit with big clean punches that ultimately could see him knocked out. So he's going to have to be very, very smart, but he's going to have to use control aggression in this fight, okay? With that said, Oscar Valdez, once he gets in the inside, the game plan for him should be defensively responsible, number one, counter and make Miguel Berchelt pay when he starts to get overly aggressive, because he has a tendency to get overly aggressive. If he feels like your feet are crossed, or you trying to catch your balance, he'll get overly aggressive and try to, drop you or try to land something big, but he'll do so by opening himself up very wide. Those are the opportunities, like I stated, where Oscar Valdez is going to have to land big, clean punches right there to freeze him in his track and make him hesitant. Now, for Miguel Berchelt, he's going to have to use his jab, control the distance, control the range. And Oscar Valdez, once he's coming in, he's going to have to time Oscar Valdez. He's going to have to use his timing, because Miguel Berchelt has great timing, okay? He's accurate with his punches when he wants to be, when he's under control. And he has great timing, and he has good control of distance. He controls the pace of the fight very, very well. So he's going to have to time Oscar Valdez when he's coming in, and I believe he can do so. But like I said, Oscar Valdez, he's going to have to be very, very patient, but use control aggression, okay? And Miguel Berchelt, he's very good at setting up his punches, right? He likes to, set up his punches. He'll throw a hook up top to get your attention, to get you, focusing on him throwing that hook up top, and then it'll come straight down to the left hook to the body, right? So with that said, to throw that timing off and to throw off his controlled distance, right, his pace, Oscar Valdez is going to have to use a lot of feints to try to force Miguel Berchelt to get out of position. Use feints, stay calm, cool, and collective, and make him force him to ultimately start to want to get aggressive, because he's getting impatient, and he's getting frustrated. So frustrate him, time him as he comes in. He gets overly aggressive, time him. Try to catch him with something big and clean just to let him know, listen, I'm here. Freeze him in his tracks, make him hesitant, and then continue to use feints, for you to be able to feint, and then come inside. If it's there, it's not, tie him up. A la Sean Porter. Okay, Sean Porter, he uses a lot of feints. He utilizes a lot of different angles to try to work him on the inside because he's always at a disadvantage when it comes to size. Okay, so with that said, this is similar game plan that Oscar Valdez is going to need to use to be able to get on the inside, but know when you can let your hands go when it's available, and know when, listen, okay, I smothered my own work. It's time to smother his work. Force the referee to separate us. Let me start over. Now, hopefully his conditioning is up to par because it's going to take a lot of conditioning to do this for a duration of the fight, and he could land big, clean punches and frustrate Miguel Berchelt. And like I said, for Miguel Berchelt, the game plan is for him to control the distance, use his jab, utilize the jab, utilize aggression, but clean aggression, right? Utilize your jab, work your way on the inside, throw a straight right hand, make a simple fight. Okay, don't get overly aggressive, opening yourself up and allowing Oscar Valdez, who's a good counter puncher, to counter you and he has power. Ultimately, I believe that Miguel Berchelt is going to close the show because I don't believe that Oscar Valdez is going to stay disciplined for the duration of the fight. I do believe that he'll start to get overly aggressive himself. He'll start, charging in, leaving himself open and making mistakes. And ultimately, I believe that Miguel Berchelt will capitalize on the mistakes. I think that he'll eventually stop Oscar Valdez by the 9th, 10th round because Oscar Valdez is going to get overly aggressive. He may be behind on the scorecards. It's going to be an action-packed fight where both guys are landing big, clean punches. But I feel like he's along with the fatigue, because he's going to have to use a lot of energy working his way to the inside. Oscar Valdez is the smaller guy. Miguel Berchelt is the bigger guy. So that size, when they have clinches, the strength of Miguel Berchelt, that's going to start to weigh on Oscar Valdez. And I think in that 9th, 10th round area, he'll make a mistake that he'll pay for with the fight. And ultimately, I see Miguel Berchelt getting a TKO victory over Oscar Valdez. I don't think that he's going to knock him out clean, but I do think he's going to get a 9th, 10th round TKO victory over Oscar Valdez and retain his WBC super featherweight title. So let's see how this plays out. It's ultimately going to be an action-packed fight, and I absolutely cannot wait. And I would not be surprised if Oscar Valdez does stay disciplined. Does win the fight, and Miguel Berchelt gets undisciplined, right? Because it's a big fight, big moment, a lot of stake. He's going to look to prove a point. Maybe Miguel Berchelt gets out of character, overly aggressive, and finds himself in a vulnerable position. But I don't see Oscar Valdez staying disciplined for 12 rounds or for, the duration of the fight, majority of the fight. I just see him making too many mistakes. And with the power of Miguel Berchelt, he's ultimately going to pay for it. But let's see how this all unfolds and plays out. I absolutely cannot wait. Been waiting for this fight for quite some time, and it's here. Who's going to be the winner? The fans in the sport of boxing. But that's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.